But listen up now. This is serious. When you're tempted to do something wrong, even if the reasons are good, think twice, because you never know how things will turn out. You might be getting yourself and everybody else into a whole lot of trouble. Do what's right, and you can't go wrong. Take it from me, Mr. T.
Hello and welcome to the epodibus Unum podcast. I'm Eitan.
And I'm Dan.
And we're very pleased to welcome back to the podcast our guest host, Allison Green.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, guys.
Good to see you again.
Great to see you. Yeah.
How was everyone's Thanksgiving?
Great.
Okay, good job, Dan. Allison.
Too much turkey, but it was fabulous.
Yeah, I actually, I had a good one. It was nice. I got to see my niece and nephew. We started a game of Catan, went one round, and then went back.
All right. Nobody wants to hear about Catan.
Dude, everybody loves Catan.
I actually did have fun. I'm not going to lie.
It's the biggest impeachment ever, Dan.
So big, so luxurious.
This past Wednesday, the House Judiciary Committee held its first hearing on impeachment, and then Thursday morning, Speaker Pelosi said that they'll be drafting articles of impeachment for the full House to vote on.
I'm not going to read the articles. I don't read books. I don't read articles.
One part that I found particularly insightful was when Harvard Law professor Noah Feldman warned,
if we cannot impeach a president who abuses his office for personal advantage, we no longer live in a democracy. We live in a monarchy, or we live under a dictatorship. That's why the framers created the possibility of impeachment.
Bam! He body slammed that freaking hearing.
And I want to live in a democracy again, please. Can we just get a democracy again, please?
make America democracy again.
Yeah, I'm with that one.
Yeah.
You do you. I'll do me.
University of North Carolina law professor Michael Gerhardt argued that the president's attempts to thwart the impeachment investigation had reached historic levels.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Repugs are, of course, changing tactics.
It was perfect. All right. And then when it wasn't perfect...
What was it?
It wasn't a crime. Everybody's doing it.
I think it's probably a crime.
You know what? This whole thing is just not legitimate. It's totally partisan.
Article 2 says you could do whatever you want.
Yeah. Article 2, thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Basically, they say it's partisan because they won't participate in it. They won't participate in it because it's partisan. And it's the same shit. First they say, oh, we need, you can't have closed-door hearings. So they don't have closed-door hearings, they have open hearings. And they have open hearings, and they say, well, we don't believe in these open hearings.
I mean, basically, they say that when a lawyer doesn't have an argument, what do? They pound the table.
Yep.
I feel like we're just watching Jim, G-Y-M, Jordan, pound the table again and again, and it's so frustrating.
I love that he's the guy that the Republicans, of everyone in the House, of all the Republicans, they're like, this is our guy. Him and Devin Nunes, who is fucking so in this swamp. He is the creature from the Black Lagoon of this swamp.
And he's a part of this whole thing.
Exactly. He is the swampalist.
He's a witness. He's a criminal. Oh, wait. He's the one who's almost running the thing with Adam Schiff.
Oh, God. Yeah, to allow him in that part position. So, guys, what did you think of Jonathan Turley's performance?
I came home and I actually wasn't able to watch most of it during the day, but I came home and I turned it on and I thought, what's Paul Manafort doing sitting at the witness table? He totally looks like Paul Manafort.
He might as well have been. I mean, considering his loose interpretation of the laws. Dan, what about
Yeah. Okay. There are so many people that keep on saying, like, he's just like a bad lawyer. Like, he makes these legal arguments that are just badly written, yada, yada, yada. He was a total hypocrite. He's basically saying the opposite of what he was saying during Clinton.
Yeah.
It's just absurd.
His whole purpose there was not actually to make any cogent arguments. It was there to poison the well and to give talking points to, right-wing shows. That's why he was there. And
he was partisan.
Yeah, whatever reputation he had, which isn't much, but that's the guy that they got. He cashed that in for, to be part of the party there. So he pretty much came across as a complete numbskull, as an idiot, because everyone immediately went back to the tapes of during the Clinton impeachment when he made the exact opposite arguments on, what was essentially a puffed up crime. It's the equivalent of like a kid hitting like 2 Matchbox cars together versus this 50-car pileup where like every car on fire and everyone dying.
But the other thing is I did get there in time to see him talking about the fact, or maybe it was on the highlights afterwards, that it was not a perfect call. So he forgot to study his Republican talking points beforehand.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so much that they can deny, because even them, even they rather realize they're like, this is really crazy. We have to admit something so that people don't think we're completely ridiculous.
But that's the idea. It's like, he's like, oh, they'll find me legitimate. I'll just say like, oh, I didn't vote for Trump. And I'll say, yeah, the call, it could have been better. It wasn't that good. But it's not impeachable. He didn't break any laws. Aside from the fact that he did commit crimes, you don't need to commit a crime to be impeached. That is the point of impeachment. It's losing your job. You don't need to commit a crime to be fired. And
he knows that because he's a lawyer. But the other thing is, just as far as messaging, we really need to message something like, the Republicans, we shouldn't have hypocrites giving us history lessons.
Yeah, he totally looked like he was on the GOP, payroll for what he was doing. And the performance he put in was not Oscar worthy, but I guess the question will be whether it was GOP check worthy. But basically, the other thing that he only seemed to be arguing the process, which is exactly what the Republicans are doing. They don't have any legitimacy, so they are arguing the process.
Exactly.
Yep.
This is the same guy who said during Clinton's impeachment that the Secret Service should testify what they saw Clinton. And yet, he said nothing about the people that Trump is preventing from testifying.
Exactly. And Clinton, by the way, gave his blood. You guys know that?
What?
He gave his blood because they were testing semen. Yeah, that actually happened.
Well, Clinton also gave written answers. He gave documents. He did not suppress a single witness.
That's right.
He also participated in the process.
And as far as his bullshit argument of Schiff's investigation versus the Starr report. First off, they had to rewrite the rules of independent counsel after Starr, because he was supposed to be investigating Whitewater and then ended up investigating a blowjob. And he went so beyond his mandate that Congress felt it necessary to rewrite the rules so someone like Kenneth Starr could never do what he did again. And also, second point of this bullshit argument is that they're actually on track to being the same amount of time. They're not moving too quickly. It's just about the same amount of time now, of about 75 days as the Clinton impeachment. Sorry, I'm on a roll here, but the 71 documents that Democrats have requested, he also said nothing about there. He said nothing about that.
Yeah.
He's such a fucking... He gives used car salesman a bad name.
But he's perfect for Trump's team.
Those are my favorite people. I only buy used cars.
Yeah. Anyway, for more on this, Elie Mystal wrote a great piece in The Nation. So where does that bring us to the public for messaging with impeachment? According to a Quinnipiac poll, 1 in 5 people surveyed said that they can change their minds on impeachment. That number probably would have been higher if Republicans hadn't spent years concertedly undermining the media and government.
Yeah.
So we really cannot afford any slip-ups in this. This is the same party that thinks that 53% think Trump is a better president than Lincoln.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep on attacking them and just attack and attack and attack. Attack their name, attack their reputation, attack everything, and just slowly try to shame people into, associating with them is a bad negative thing, and you don't want to do that.
It's not necessarily about convincing people who are already drinking the Kool-Aid for years of the Trump space. We're not going to convince them. It's about getting the message out to the people who need to be woke.
Absolutely. And what you were saying about attack, it's not the way like Sinclair and Fox News like
Right.
slander people. They actually do stuff. Jim Jordan covered up, what is it, like 200 cases of sexual assault.
Yeah.
Devin Nunes is pretty much is at the center of this, and yet he is the ranking member on the Intelligence Committee. I mean, we don't have to make stuff up. We just have to say what they do.
But and keep on repeating it. Like
exactly.
every congressperson, every senator has to go on and just keep on, like, branding these people.
In fact, David Frum wrote a piece in The Atlantic this last week about why all these criminals that have been indicted in the various investigations gravitate so much to Trump. His first 2 endorsements are now being indicted. So, I mean, birds of a feather.
Or criminals get together.
This week in good messaging,
What do we got, Dan?
we got Joe Biden's ad, which is the one where he the ad came out right after, the whole NATO situation, and it had clips of several world leaders basically laughing at him. And then it cut to the UN situation where that was even worse because literally the whole world was laughing at us. I mean, it was great.
It's a great ad. It's a great ad because the whole world is laughing at this clown.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the point, though, too. It's good to talk about that the whole world is laughing at us, but the reality is they're laughing at Trump.
Right.
They're sitting there and they're not laughing at America. They're laughing at Trump.
That's the point, though.
Yeah.
That's the point, is that, because you want to make Trump such a piece of shit that people don't want to be associated with him. The ad is good, though, because what you want to do is ridicule someone like that so that people feel stupid about following him.
Yeah. As much as I hate to admit it, Make America Great Again is a powerful slogan.
Sure.
And this is a great counter to that because there's nothing about being laughed at that's great.
No.
And he says, Make America Great Again, and we just show the whole world laughing at him.
Exactly.
And they never did that with Obama. The
No.
world revered Obama.
This week in bad messaging, Melania Trump actually sent out a tweet in the middle of Wednesday's impeachment hearing aimed at Pamela Karlan. Pamela Karlan, being the only female witness who was testifying against Trump, had used as an example Baron Trump's name to make a point about a monarchy. She said that Trump may be able to name their child Baron, but they can't actually make him a Baron because we are not a monarchy. It was not at all an attack. She uttered Baron Trump's name. But what Melania did was she reacted and she sent out a tweet during the impeachment hearings that said, that Pamela Karlan should be ashamed and very, very angry. And she referred to an obviously biased public pandering using a child to do it. So not true. There was not an attack there. And whether Melania wrote the tweet or an aide wrote it for her, and I believe Melania wrote this tweet, like I believe windmills give me cancer, like I believe that the 1775 Revolutionary Army took over the airports, like I believe that I need ID to buy groceries. There is no way that this woman wrote that tweet. It's still a tweet sent from the White House abusing a female witness as she was in the middle of testifying in Trump's impeachment hearings, just like they did with Marie Yovanovitch. Trump may hide behind his wife, but it's still real-time witness intimidation. And what I want to see in terms of messaging is for the media to jump on it and recognize it for another example of, hey, this is actually witness intimidation. They need to call it out as it's happening. It was sneaky, but I think that this was a setup and Trump was just using his wife's account to do his dirty work.
This week in both-siderism goes to the New York Times. Its headline from Thursday morning, which read, "Tension as scholars debate if case was made to impeach." That is so fucking disingenuous. There was no debate at all.
No.
Words
obvious.
matter. And the way they're messaging that, it goes against the reality.
Yeah, exactly. There were 3 scholars and 1 schlub who has sold himself to be a Republican shill.
And maybe on the Republicans' payroll, if you ask me.
Yeah. I mean, there's just certain things that are undeniable. You know, the sun in the sky. Trump is completely corrupt. You know.
Yeah.
These things are very similar.
The Boston Globe's editorial board Friday morning said that we need to impeach him. Of all the idiots that they could get, there's literally tape of Turley. He makes me so mad, like contradicting himself.
Oh yeah.
All right. Anyway, let's end this show on that note.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it. See, I'm so upset at Jonathan Turley. He does that.
This guy is so angry.
Jonathan Turley is the worst.
You got a lot of anger, buddy.
Coming from you, Trump. You got upset over the toilets flushing.
Get him out of here.
All right. That's
No, it was a guy coughing.
You're right.
Lock him up. Am I right, guys? Am I right? Am I right?
That's it for this week. Thank you. Shout out to our very first supporter, Susanna. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Yay!
Everyone, please go to anchor.fm/epodibus unum to help us out. This podcast means a lot to us, and we both put in a lot of work into it, so we really do appreciate anything. We'll put in the show notes, too.
Yeah, and you can find us everywhere at epodibus, EPODIBUS. You can find us on Twitter there, and that's our email, Gmail, and just Google it, and you can find our podcast.
That was the cat saying epodibus.
Yeah, the cat is trying to learn English.
Yeah. Remember, messaging is only half the battle. Mobilization is the other half. And one easy thing that we can do is call our congressperson. Email is okay, but calling is most effective.
And you know what? With the impeachment going to the Senate, call your senators as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Please give us a rating on Apple Podcast or wherever you get our podcast.
Yes, 5 stars, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It really helps us get the message out. We are also still looking for an intern to help out. If you want to help us expand the show, maybe go into a little bit more depth or do interviews or twice a week, maybe do it more than once a week. So if you're a political junkie and would love to help, we'd love to have you.
I love it. I love it.
We love you too. All right, thanks. See you all next week.
Bye.